Hey everyone, Tim here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Tim's Oregon Explorations. So today I am actually in Portland at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. I planned on making a visit here. There was an exhibit here that I wanted to see, and when I checked on the map to locate OMSI, I noticed on the map that they had a submarine. So I decided to come to Portland and to check it out. The name of the submarine is called the USS Blueback. It was a Bachelor class naval submarine that was, I believe, in service for, over 30 years. I'll be sure to put more information down below in the description so you can check it out. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So please, follow me.
Is called the sail. Even though it doesn't look like a sailboat sail, they still call it a sail. It houses a lot of things that are sticking out from the sail right now. Okay, let's go across. Let's go to the riverside. Riverside? Yeah, everybody go to the riverside of the sidewalk. That way the joggers and the bikers, they can all have a place to go by. Okay, you see our submarine floating in the Willamette River down there. It's been floating there since 1994. Before that, it's been 31 years in the Navy. While it was an actual submarine in the Navy, it was used as a spy boat. They say intelligence gathering, but it's spying.
Yeah, we're going to go on a spy boat. It's a big spy.
And then we're going to go under the water.
Are you ready?
Okay, I also want to point out this is the propeller for our submarine. This pushed our submarine through the Pacific Ocean for 31 years. Now, we took it off the submarine. It's like taking the wheels off a car. We can't drive the submarine around anymore because our propeller is up here. It is up here to serve as a memorial for those who lost their lives in submarine service. It can be very dangerous work, and some people have passed away in the line of service. So this is to thank them for their sacrifice. We'll make our way down now. All these boats floating on the water, we call them surface ships. Like your aircraft carrier, surface ship.
Of course, they got the jet boats too.
Yeah. They're going to get back into action on Memorial Day weekend. They're getting things ready right now.
Nice.
That's a very popular attraction. It shares the
So I've heard, especially here in Oregon.
Huh?
So I've heard, especially here in Oregon.
Yeah. They're actually not really part of OMSI, but they share the dock with us.
Okay. Wow. First time seeing an actual sub.
Isn't that amazing? If it was in the Navy, you'd never see it.
I My dad used to be in the Navy.
Oh, very cool.
He was stationed in San Diego when we lived down there, and he was on board the USS McKee, which was a submarine tender.
Oh, that's cool. Submarine tenders.
It was on. That's what the
those
USS
important.
McKee was a submarine tender.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, I'm gonna let everybody get here. It got a lot bigger, didn't it? It sure did. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about the outside of the sub, and then we'll go inside. Okay, so welcome. This is the USS Blueback. This was a barbell class submarine. This is a diesel electric submarine. Diesel electric. Electric runs on batteries. Diesel engines to recharge the batteries every now and again. So we're looking at the outer shell or hull of the submarine. Every sub has two hulls all the way around it. This is the outer hull. The inner hull, the pressure hull, is twice as thick as this metal. It's as if you would wear your sweatshirt over your puffy in the wintertime. The thicker one's on the inside, the thinner one's on the outside. That's how the submarine is made. Now the square is called the sail, as I mentioned earlier, and you see the number painted on the side? That means that this is the 581st sub commissioned by the Navy. They number all of them in order. Today they're in the 800s. All the things sticking out from the top of the sail in the beautiful sunshine is spy stuff. You've got two silver periscopes up there. That's how they peek out through the sub. You're all gonna have a chance to look through those periscopes yourself and do your own spying for a minute. On the gray and black mast are radio antenna for all their top secret communication needs. On the back end, the big black thing that kind of looks like the state of Louisiana, that's the snorkel. The lower part of the snorkel, the flat part, that's the tailpipe part. When the diesel engines run, the exhaust comes out of that part. The upper part is the snorkel part, how it breathes. And when the submarine is at snorkel, the upper part is the only thing that sticks up above the water. The rest of this vessel is 57 feet underwater. You ready to come on board? Okay, come with me.
Going inside submarine.
I like your song. Okay, I have a safety note to tell you guys. As you come down this stairway, it is so steep it's technically a ladder. So please use your handrails, take your time. Okay, these are super duper steep. Also, we have a hand sanitizer dispenser at the base of the stairs. We have sensitive people on board. Please use the sanitizer when you come on board.
Forget to get soap on the way down, boys.
Whoa!
This is nothing new.
Are you used to that type of ladder?
That's what the midway has on them. Like this, going straight down.
Yep, they're technically ladders. I'm going to ask you to shut that door when you go in there and have a seat around the table in this next room.
Which door?
The one right in front of you.
So,
Yes, just shut
set
it.
this one and
That's correct. Thank you. So this is a bit of watering. Just for safety. That is a safety ring. Thank you.
That's what happens if somebody goes in the
That's
water.
what happens if someone goes in the water. I throw them that safety ring and they'll be able to float. Very good. Okay, in the very next room, have a seat around the table once you get in there. Excellent. You do.
Sit in the table. Sit over there. Go sit. Mush. Go mush.
Why are we using soap?
Because we need to be clean when we get on the bus.
If you're really thirsty, I can give you a sip right now.
Scoot, scoot.
Whoa!
You'll have to drink it right now.
Look at that. Look at all the people that were on
As soon as
here.
you're done rubbing.
You see those
And you can
blacks
come
up
in
there?
here, that way the
See
red
those
light-
black and gold names? Those were all the people that were on our submarine that were on the ring.
Now we're on.
I know, we're on it.
Where are the windows? Check out this mirror picture. Check out this. Look.
Okay, everybody, go on in. Find a seat around the table if we can all squeeze in together.
Ooh, that's
Oh, is that going to sleep? We're going to go sit at the table. That's what she wants us to do. Go sit by Daddy.
Scrunch in. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Okay. Are you comfortable?
yeah.
Yeah? Okay, this is the comfortable part of the sub. This part of the submarine, this is officers' country. They had 8 officers. They were the leaders of the sub, and this is where they stayed. Anytime you see blue carpeting on a naval vessel, officers' country. And the ladder you climb down to get on the sub, that's not originally part of the submarine. That's a museum entrance. Normally, you climb down a vertical hatch to get on a real submarine. That's not a safe choice for our visitors. We actually cut a hole in the side of the sub and gave you our museum entrance instead. And if we did that, we had to take out 3 bunks right from that space. So y'all walked right through a former bunk room for the officers. Further down the passageway, you've got more bunks for more officers, their toilet and shower. Right in here looks like a kitchen, but it's actually known as the pantry. This is where the food gets plated and served to the officers because this is their meal table. It's labeled on the map as officers' mess. Now this room right here, this is the captain's room. The captain was the leader of all the leaders, the most important of all the officers, the commanding officer. The captain, he's the only one on the entire sub that gets his very own bedroom. And he gets the big bedroom. Well, it's a little big bedroom, you're right. But it's big on a sub.
So
Everyone
similar
else-
to the captain on the Midway, he got his own
Well, that's
room.
a strong naval tradition. The captain always gets his own room, and
Yep.
he does not have to share it with anybody. Even if the president came on the sub, he doesn't kick captain out of his room. He gets a drop-down bunk further down the way. It's serious. Now, it is a perk. Now, there's also 77 other people on the submarine in addition to these 8 officers. There was the crew, like the worker bees on the sub. And when the crew first gets on the submarine for their very first time, they have to learn the whole boat and then prove it to the Navy. So they have 9 months to do that. I'll get to this in just a second, I promise. So they have to know what everything is, where it's located, how to operate it, and how to fix it. And pass 14 engineering level exams that prove they understand all the science it takes to run this boat. If they do all that within 9 months, they earn these dolphin pins. These U.S. Naval dolphin pins, you only get them if you prove it and you've learned every inch of the boat. If you get these dolphin pins, you're fully qualified. You know what to do in case something goes wrong. You get these, you can stay on the submarine and complete your Navy service. However, if you don't get those within 9 months, you don't get dolphin pins. You don't get to stay on the submarine. What you get is to go away. They want the very best, the very brightest. This is not easy work. It's very dangerous. So, if you're willing to do it, you're good enough, you get to do it. 1% of 1% of those that want to get to. Now look at these dolphin pins. Those are from around the world. Those are from 47 countries that have or had submarine programs. And they all want their best and brightest too. They're all alphabetically listed. Pretty cool, huh? Now there's a map right here that shows some of the ports our submarine has visited. There's a dot in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. That was home base for the submarine.
Oh, wow.
So whenever they went back to home base port, it was in Hawaii. Yay, they took their breaks in Hawaii. That's pretty awesome. However, when the submarine dove underwater for a top secret spy mission, this thing stayed underwater for 3 months. 90 days underwater without coming to the surface. That's like a whole summer underwater. I know, right? Yes, what's your question?
How do submarines grow with that picture?
Well, these are a collection of different submarines, and I'll tell you all about them right now. So, the one we're on is this submarine. I'm actually going to dim the light so you can see these better. This is our Blueback submarine. That's the one we're on right now. You see the teeny weeny little bitty one? That was the very first sub ever commissioned by the U.S. Navy, way back in 1900. This one was called the USS Holland, named after its inventor. It's about the size of a school bus, or in honor of our featured exhibit right now, a little bit bigger than a full-grown male orca. This one is how they were designed during the World Wars era. This is a Gato class. On top, that's the biggest sub in the whole U.S. Navy. I'll get your question in just a second. This one is called an Ohio class submarine. It's a modern day sub. That's a nuclear powered submarine. So is this one. This is another modern day nuclear powered submarine. This is the workhorse of the Navy. That one's called an LA class submarine. The one on the bottom, that was the biggest sub built by any country in the world. This one is Russian, and it's called the Typhoon class. You might not see it from where you're sitting, but it is a little bit longer than the Ohio class and twice as wide. They were really, really big. Okay, what's your question?
I need something to eat.
Oh, well, we're gonna leave and get something to eat later.
You'll be able to have a snack after the tour. Okay? Okay, so this is part of the inner pressure hull of our submarine. Y'all have a piece right behind the fan up there, and you guys have a couple pieces above and behind your head. If you're feeling strong, pick it up.
Pick that up.
It's pretty heavy, isn't it?
Be careful.
Yep, don't squish your fingers. And let's pass it around so everyone else can have a turn with that. Here.
Oh, Daddy, try to pick it up.
Pick it up.
Now that's a metal, it's called HY80 steel, and it can withstand over 8,000 pounds per square inch of pressure. That protects the submarine as it dives really deep underwater. There's a crush depth for this hull around this submarine. And that crush depth is 1,050 feet. That's how deep it could dive before we start to squish.
Oh my God.
So the submarine would go down to 720. Oh my. Yeah, imagine the whole submarine. How heavy would that be?
This is like part of it.
Actually, I know how heavy it would be. Y'all want to hear how heavy it is? Yeah. Okay, when this thing is fully loaded and there's salt water in all these ballast tanks, which is the gap between the two hulls, this whole submarine weighs 2,648 tons.
Wow.
Which is a little bit heavier than an equivalent volume of seawater, which is why it can dive. Now, if you've put air in those ballast tanks instead of seawater, it's 500 tons lighter, and you can float, which is what we're doing right now. We're floating in the Willamette because there's air in those ballast tanks. But the ballast tanks can either have air or seawater, or a blend of both, if it needs to be.
Is there a blend of both, right?
Right now, it's just air, which is why we're floating right here. If you were to do a blend of both, you have something called neutral buoyancy, and that's like being weightless in the water column. When they're at snorkel and they have to be at 57 feet underwater, they do neutral buoyancy at that depth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff.
Can I go now?
No, we're not done with the tour.
Oh, actually, we're ready to go to another section. We are going to go through this half the door. We're going to go into our control room next. It's going to stop looking like an RV and more like a sub through this half door. Now, before we go, I have a very important rule. Do not touch the buttons or switches or knobs. 60% of the ones you're going to see still work, so don't touch any of them. Does that sound okay?
Do not touch the buttons.
Okay, now, my young friends, will you guys help me watch the runners?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, everybody, follow me this way.
I'll let you go first.
Thank you.
Ladies first.
Tour guide first.
Tour
Okay,
guide.
so right through this door, you've got Morse code beeping out of the radio room. That's where they intercepted all their top secret signals. Right here was the office. Paperwork and payroll.
Wow. It's like being on the Midway, only smaller.
Mind the corner here. Excellent. Also, you're welcome to go across. Just mind your footing. The floor is uneven and the ceiling is lumpy. There you go. And you're also welcome to go all the way across more living spaces. Okay, watch out for the corners.
Can we sit in the chairs?
Yes, you may.
Can I try?
Oh, great. Now I'm hearing orcas.
There you are.
Yep, I know that sound.
I believe that's the APOD.
Huh?
I think that's the APOD.
Oh, the Northern Residents.
Yeah.
Very familiar with the Northern Residents,
This
believe
was
me.
recorded by a hydrophone from another submarine. All right, everybody. Welcome to the control room. This was the nerve center of our submarine. During normal operations, they can't touch the steering wheel. Totally okay. During normal operations, this room had about 6 or 7 people in here. If it was battle stations, there would have been 17 people in this space.
Wow.
Yeah, we're 15 people. We're not all full grown.
What's that?
Imagine that. Okay, so we've got the 2 driving systems here. This driver would be controlling the depth and the direction. Do not touch those buttons though. Thank you. The driver next to you is controlling the angle of the dive. And they work really closely together to make sure the boat stayed level as it maneuvered through the water. However, I will point out that there's not a windshield there. You can't see where you're going when you're driving a submarine. You have to drive it blind. There is no window. There's no window that's as strong as the double hull system on this submarine. And really, when you're underwater, you don't have to see because you can listen so well. The submarine, like all the others, relied on sonar. And that's sound waves that travel through the water. Sound goes 4 times faster through the water than through the air. It goes further, it penetrates through things, and these sonar specialists that were listening are so good that they can identify obstacles, they can identify wildlife that's making sounds in the water, and more importantly, other vessels. They can identify another boat by the sound the propeller made and know from what country. Really amazing. Now, if they needed to look through the submarine, they would look through the periscopes. And we have a pair of periscopes in here. This one was the observation periscope. This one was the attack periscope. You have an eyepiece right here and another eyepiece right here. I would like to invite all of you to look through the periscopes. What you see through there is what's really out there. It's amazing to see. This is a periscope right here, and this is another one here. You see how she's looking through it? Yep, the whole thing is a periscope.
Alex, come over here. Wyatt, come over here for me.
All right, everybody. Now climb up on the stand.
Alex,
Here,
you gotta
get
stand
your feet
up
up.
there. Stand up there.
Well, hang on. He's going to take his turn first.
There you go.
There you
Stand
go.
up there.
Okay, and hold on to these when you're up there to stabilize yourself. Perfect. Good job.
Okay, now look in this hole. Can you see outside? Can you see it?
You can see when the light hits the sidewalk. Oh, you guys, when we're looking through the periscopes, the lighting that's in here is actually not good when the periscopes are up. This white light escapes through the periscope, and that would shine like a beacon. And that would give away the location of the spy boat. We have to put it to another light setting when the periscopes are up. I'm about to change the lighting, everybody, so be prepared. I'm going to change it to up periscope lighting. Ooh. Okay, you see this red light? This is up periscope lighting. This is the light setting when the periscopes are up, because this red light does not have the wavelength strength to escape like white light. It's much more discreet. It's also very good to preserve the night vision for anybody in this space, because they got to be able to see and look and see what they're seeing.
Alexander, can I see now?
And lastly, it's more dramatic.
Alexander.
That's what you see in the submarine movies. This is the light setting. But there was actually a scientific reason for it.
Now it's Wyatt's turn.
There's also 2 different periscopes you can take turns looking through. Do you have any other questions in our control room?
Stay over here, please.
Yes, what's your question?
Oh.
884. 884. In this one room.
So cool.
It took a long time for me to count that high.
It's so cool.
Accurately.
It looks like a river.
Every time I thought I got the count, I looked up and there were like 5 more.
I tried, brother.
All right, everybody. We have to go to another spot. We're going to go down another ladder. It's going to be steeper than the first one. This is actually original to the sub. There's only one hammer, too. So be careful. Follow me. We're going to the torpedo room next.
Cool.
Oh my god.
No, coming through. Coming through.
Stop.
Going down.
You guys cannot push each other. This is not a joke.
Just like the Midway.
Yeah. Very accurate to the midway.
Pretty close. As far as the steps, I'll tell you.
So right in this space, that was the dedicated sonar room. We have a loop of different sounds recorded from other submarines. That one, I believe, is a humpback whale, which sounds like the ghost of a cow. Very good, you guys. Thanks for being careful coming down those super steep stairs. Got a couple of showers.
Oh, the shower.
For the crew. 4 heads for the crew.
Oop, first door.
What?
What's your YouTube channel?
Tim's Oregon Explorations.
Oh, nice.
Here's a torpedo. Man the torpedoes. Isn't that what they say? Like man the torpedoes?
Man the torpedoes, man the torpedoes, fish in the water. They have all things to say about it. All right, my guests, I would like for everyone to go towards the ladder, not up the ladder, just up to the ladder, so all of our guests can fit in the ladder. It's a very single file situation. Yeah. everybody. Welcome to the torpedo room. This is the only torpedo room on this submarine. We're all the way near the front of the submarine in front of the sail. You're standing amongst the storage racks. They would have stored 12 torpedoes on these racks for storage. Now, if you turn around and look through the exit ladder up front, you can see 3 torpedo tubes at eye level. And there are 3 below them. With a 3 over 3 seconds. The barbells will be only constant up with 3 over 3 seconds. Now, they use the torpedo tubes to launch the torpedo off the subs with whatever target they're aiming at. To get the torpedoes onto the submarine to begin with, look above the exit ladder. You see the hatch up there that comes in at an angle? Right up there is the torpedo loading hatch. They're going to slowly and carefully back the torpedoes down through the hatch. The floor that y'all are standing on, except for us, that's not actually a floor. That's a giant hydraulic jack that goes all the way up like a big old ramp to help guide these torpedoes onto the sub and onto these racks. This thing would have weighed 4,000 pounds. Simple man handling that. You need hydraulics in the back. Yeah, don't drop these. Okay, so we're in a museum now. All of these torpedoes have been disarmed. They're decommissioned. There's nothing explosive in here anymore. So if you want to touch the torpedo, I'm going to lift it. Don't touch anything. Do you want to touch a torpedo? You want to touch a torpedo? Do a knack. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop touching. Excellent. Good job. Stop touching. Okay, does anybody have any questions in our torpedo room? I saw a hand up earlier. What's your question? Do you have a question? What's your question? What was your question?
What is this room? It's the torpedo room.
Yeah, this room is called the torpedo room. And what's your question?
I need water.
Yeah, we're gonna get you water in a little while.
Yes, what's your question?
How long have these torpedoes been in here?
Since 1994. So they've been sitting here for a long time. Yes.
How many miles have they been out?
Oh, they can reach highway speeds. And that's as specific as I can be. Yes, what's your question? So you see this thing? This is a hydraulic, this is a pusher. You would put it to the end of this torpedo and push it into the torpedo tube. You can align these racks with the torpedo tube, and then you would push them into the tube. All right, I have a question for y'all. Have you noticed anyone taking a nap in here?
So they would actually sleep down here?
Some people would actually sleep in here.
Okay.
Torpedo specialists, Navy SEALs, guys too long for their bunk. Yeah. Some guys would sleep in here if they're too long for their 6'2" bunks. There wasn't a height limit. Yeah, it's part of one. He's been in here for a really long time. Is it real? No. I call him mannequin sleepwalker. Now, are you ready to see the actual bunk rooms for everybody? These are kind of special bunks. We're going to see the actual cruise berthing. Yeah. You know, I have a pleasure of working with a volunteer who retired from Navy submarines. He worked on barbell subs. He slept in the torpedo room. Torpedoes. The reason why he liked it is he said these things don't work. Yeah, that's true. All right, follow these 100.
Cool, being in the torpedo room. Love us up.
It's a poopy suit. Okay, everybody. Okay, so welcome to Extreme Bunk Bedding. This is where all the enlisted guys would be sleeping. We actually took 6 bunks out of this space to give y'all a place to stand. And this is one of the 3 rows of bunk rooms. This is 3rd Street. There's 2nd Street and 1st Street all in this section. Did you notice the bunk on top is lifted up? That bunk lifts up just like all the other ones do. That's their personal storage space right under that bunk. That's 2 inches high. That's all they get for 3 months. If your stuff doesn't fit when you pack, it doesn't go on stuff. Now this is for the crew, and we have 77 crew. However, we just have 66 bunks. It doesn't add up, does it?
Because some people are going to be awake.
Exactly. Yeah, there's different shifts throughout the day, and it was built in that 11 people had to share their bunks. And those were the newest guys. Without their dolphin pins, they were the bunk sharers. They were known as hot bunkers because your body heat warms up the bunk when you're in it, and it's still hot when the next guy rolls in, so they're called hot bunkers. And they get half the storage space.
Wow.
Yeah, and you get your dolphin pins, you get more pennies. All right, any questions? Yes.
How do you find it?
No, you don't. No.
Yes.
How do people get into the top one?
Somewhat acrobatically. They have to step on his head, then step on his head, and then they're in their bed. Not really, they just climb up. Try not to step on heads. All right, now our next stop, everybody, is the crew's living room. So please follow me. Have a seat around the tables once we get in there.
Submarine overnighters.
If anybody wants access to a back table, you can come this way and that way. Oh, it's perfect.
Who's that?
I'm going to see the color.
Who's that?
And I'll be coming right through.
Okay, not a problem.
Objects in your pocket there? All right, everybody, so welcome to the crew's living room. This is where the crew would have all their meals. There was a 4th table here that we removed to get the exit ladder. And you can imagine not 77 guys are going to fit in here at the same time. A third of them could fit in here. So their meal times lasted 15 minutes. So the next batch of guys would have qualifying and meetings. If there was a collection of crew, a meeting of crew, it happened right in here. Through the window in here where the fan is, that's the scullery. That's where the dishes get washed and the waste gets managed. There's a 7th torpedo tube in the scullery. It's labeled the garbage disposal unit. It's smaller, it's modified. It jets straight down to jettison their food waste right off the boat. It becomes fish food. Now right in here, this is the galley, or kitchen. This is where all the food for everybody was cooked, even for the officers that ate upstairs. Now, this was a busy place. Everybody on board was offered 4 meals every day, 6 hours apart. They had breakfast, then lunch, then dinner, then midnight rations. It's like leftover fest from the day. Now, raise your hand if you believe that the food on this sub was super awesome. Anybody believe it wasn't very good? Raise your hand. Oh, wow, unanimous. You're all wrong. It was super awesome. They had the best food in the armed forces in the world. They got more budget to get better food. They got the first pick of all the food secured by the Navy. And in the Navy, they're the only ones that get chefs in their galley. Now, surface ships, they get cooks. These guys went to culinary school for like a year after basic training. Some of them are so good they go on to cook in the White House and in 5-star restaurants. You know, these guys are stuck on this boat. There is no escape for 3 months. This is very difficult. This is very dangerous. You want to boost the morale of these hardworking guys. You give them the best food possible. One way to the heart is through the stomach, right? They embrace that concept. So they got the very best food in the world and unlimited ice cream. Right here, the brown box with the white handle is a soft serve ice cream machine. And on this submarine, it was always open. If it was not operational, they wouldn't leave Pearl Harbor until it was fixed. Eat your heart out, McDonald's. So, all the ice cream you wanted, anytime you wanted, as much as you wanted, as often as you wanted. It sweetens the deal. You know what I mean? Any questions about that in here? Yes, what's your question?
Don't ask for water. No.
Now you see a lot of food in here, but that's real fake food. What's your question?
Were there different flavors of the ice cream?
Just vanilla, but there was syrup and sprinkles. What's your question? That was your question. And what's your question?
Did they watch TV when they were eating?
They would watch movies after dinner time. And that movie watching technology, that television with the VCR, that came on in the 80s along with the microwave oven. Before that, the way they would watch movies is this green box. That green box is a reel-to-reel projector. You can still see cans of film back there. You see this hook? There's another hook way over there. They would hang a sheet from these two hooks and project their movies like a tiny little movie theater. And even today, they have a very special relationship with Hollywood. They get first-run movies even before theaters sometimes. I mean, who are they going to tell? Now, I want to talk really quick about food storage. There is no pizza delivery or DoorDash when you're on a top-secret mission underwater. They have to fit all the food on the sub. They had to squeeze 14,000 pounds of food on this vessel. And it was stored everywhere. Everywhere we've been and beyond. Right over there are two 75 cubic foot freezers. They would stuff it full of proteins. There's two dry goods storage rooms. You all stepped over, one outside the torpedo room, and there's one right here towards the back of the boat. Under your butts, those are hollow benches. They'd stuff food in there too. They would put food in the torpedo room. They kept it cool for the explosives that used to be in there, so freshies like vegetables and fruit and dairy were stuffed in the torpedo room. Those shower stalls that didn't get a lot of showers, they'd store food in there until you took your occasional quick sub shower. You took all the food out of it, and when you were done with that little shower, you put all the food back in it exactly as you found it. Those sleeping bunks, if you weren't as big as your bunk, you shared your bunk with food. The engine room that we're going to go through next got really hot, so anything that could take heat was stored in there. An air vent like this, they would stuff food in there too. Now all of these nooks and crannies are full of all this food. All this food is 10,000 pounds. They still have 2 tons to fit on the sub. And the last 2 tons come in hundreds and hundreds of these giant cans full of more food. And all these nooks and crannies, they're already stuffed. There's only one place left to store these cans. Any guesses or ideas where that might be? What's your guess?
Does the can open?
It is open. We just have it for display. That's a very good guess, but not the torpedo tubes. What's your guess? And do you think you could fit hundreds of these in the microwave? No. Anybody? What's your guess?
How do cans work?
Well, I can explain that once we get off the submarine. But it's a very good question. What's your guess?
In the kitchen?
In the kitchen. No, not in the galley. I'll tell you where. Right here on the floor. They made a whole new floor out of cans. From the torpedo room to the engine room, from bulkhead to bulkhead. Everybody on this level had to walk on these cans. Look how much closer my head gets to the ceiling on this floor. Anybody even this much taller than me would know where all of these lights, all of these hooks, all the valves and knobs, they would literally have to duck and dodge until they ate their way all the way back down to the floor. And y'all, these are the last to go. If you start seeing the floor, you're getting back to shore. Now, the reason why they did this is because this is the limiting factor for how long they could stay out to sea. If they could stuff 90 days worth of food on the sub, they could stay out for 90 days. They're limited by food supply. Even the modern day nuclear powered subs are still limited by food supply. Pretty cool. All right. We have one more place to visit, everybody. We're going to go all the way to the back end of our submarine. We're going to go through the engine room, and in there we've got 3 giant, amazing, powerful diesel engines. These are Fairbanks Moore's opposing piston 1500 horsepower diesels. Yes? Yeah, open up from the back end side. Okay. Now these engines that you're about to walk by, those are the same ones on trains. This submarine has 3 train engines on board. The one you walk closest to is opened up, and you can look inside of it as we walk by. We're all going to meet in the maneuvering room beyond that, and I want to remind you that there is a no touching rule in the maneuvering room. And those tempting buttons glow, and a lot of them in here too.
After you.
Thank you.
Oh boy. Ooh. This is always cool when they have it like displayed like this. So would you say they use these the same as what?
On trains.
On trains? Okay. So it's basically the same principle, basically. Stopping right here or going all the way in?
Oh, right on in there.
Okay. This must be the maneuvering room.
That's the maneuvering room. That's right.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Oh my gosh, I so nice. Want to touch these? Oh.
Remember, no touching rule.
Don't touch that.
No touching.
No touching.
Hello. I'm in one. Look at me.
No, get down. No touching. No touching.
All right, everybody, welcome in. This room is our maneuvering room. This is like the power plant of our submarine. In here, you've got ways of distributing all the electrical needs throughout the sub. Also, right in front here, you've got what's called the engine control panel. This is where they would activate and monitor the diesel engines in the next room. Now, this boat is battery operated. This is an electric boat. Did y'all see a pink fuzzy bunny on the tour?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's the Energizer bunny. He represents all the batteries on our sub. Did y'all notice the big black battery in the scullery? 1 foot by 1 foot by 4 feet tall. That's a lead acetate battery, just like you have in most cars. One of our batteries weighs the same as a 1-year-old elephant. That's like 1,200 pounds. We have 504 of those batteries on our sub. That's the most of any in the U.S. Navy. And those batteries run everything on our submarine. All the power needs come from batteries.
No touching.
Sometimes the batteries run low. You got to recharge those batteries. You got to run the engines to do it. But to run those engines, you got to get to snorkel depth. That's as shallow as this boat ever gets during its 3 months at sea. You're going to get the boat to 57 feet underwater, and then that snorkel is going to telescope up to right above the water level. They only do that at night, and after they're sure no one is around them. They're peeking with periscopes, listening with sonar. If they're all alone when it's after dark, the snorkel goes up, and they can activate their engine. They're going to run 2 of their 3 engines. They always set the third as a backup, just in case. Now, when the engines are running, the batteries are getting recharged. They're also exchanging air onto the submarine since the snorkel is above the water. Now, while the engines run, this engine room will get really hot and loud. I'm talking 120 degrees, 137 decibels in volume. That is so loud, it would damage your hearing if your ears weren't protected. So they wore earplugs and headphones, and this door we all just walked through, it's heat-proof, soundproof, and hard. So they would have that shut for like 4 or 5 hours while the engines are running to recharge the batteries. But as soon as those batteries get fully recharged, they're going to turn off those engines. Drop the snorkel back into the sail, dive back down to a safer, deeper depth, and continue on with their mission. Now these fully charged batteries will last on average 60 hours. And then they have to snorkel and recharge a few times every week. However, when this submarine ran on battery power, this submarine was silent. Not even a nuclear-powered submarine was as quiet as this was running the time. It made it a fantastic spy boat. Also kind of like a giant underwater ahead of its time ship.
You are underwater.
Yeah, that's actually the last thing I was going to tell you guys. We have been underwater since the torpedo room. We just spent about 30 minutes under the river level without getting wet.
I want to go again.
You do? I'm excited to hear that. What's your question?
What's everything back there?
Everything back there is known as shaft out. That's where the propeller and the rudder shaft are. There's also a giant motor that spins the propeller. That armature motor is about the size of a car. I love that place. Yes, what's your question?
What's this one?
That is a hold-on bar, just in case the submarine starts getting rocky rolly. You don't want to accidentally touch a switch. You don't need to. Yes?
How long would they have to wait before they could open the engine room doors again?
I mean, they could pop through if they needed to, but they would have to wait till the temperature dissipated a little bit. I don't know exactly how long that would be. I'll have to find out from my submarine friend who's stuck with the non-submarine torpedoes. Yeah. All right, you guys, we're out of boat to tour. We're going to have to double back and take the exit ladder. Now, when you take the exit ladder that's in cruise mess, I want you to look for one clue. That clue is one blue step. That blue step is the river level. Once you get above that blue step, you're back above the water. But until then, we're all still underwater. So follow me.
Whoa, look for the blue step and then you know you're out of the water. Okay, you've been underwater this whole time. Yep, we're still in the water. Still in the water.
It's the blue ladder.
We gotta go down.
Nicely done.
Trying to get the hang of those things.
Yeah, they're tricky. It takes some practice for sure.
Oh, there's the blue step.
Yeah,
That's the water line.
that is.
There's the water line right there.
All right, good job.